Okay. Welcome to the cybersecurity source code analysis training. Basically, today is a demo for the source code analysis. This is the training cum certification program from AC Council. So as part of that, you will be covered for case certification, certified application security engineer. And the source code which we are going to cover for this certification is Java. So you should have some basic knowledge about the Java if you want to finish this training and certification. For certification, you have to write an exam for 3 hours. And SAST, static application security testing. In fact, source code analysis is considered as SAST. And additionally, you are going to do the certification for this program. As you see that you should have some prior knowledge of Java to understand these concepts. So we are going to cover Java additionally for this batch. Okay. Initially, 3 to 4 days, you are going to get trained on Java. Don't think like programming language is tough. It will be easier. Okay. So SAST and mobile pen testing. Mobile pen testing is some kind of, you can consider it like additional course which you are going to get trained along with the SAST. It is nothing related to the certification of KS or SAST. Just for the advantage of jobs, as you see, like nowadays, a lot of opportunities are there on the mobile penetration testing. Whoever are attending for this course, I want you to take full advantage of this training program for your jobs. Okay, so you can consider this as a demonstration where you are going to learn about some of the basics and the course curriculum, what exactly will be covered as part of the entire 3 weeks course. It is just for 3 weeks. 1 week is for Java, 1 week is for source code analysis, and then 1 week is for mobile pen testing. So mobile pen testing, we are going to cover both SAST and DAST. So let us walk through some of the tools and concepts which you are going to get trained as part of this complete course. Okay, so the agenda will be the introduction and the certifications just now I have done, and what are the jobs that we are going to target as part of case. Then next we'll walk through the course content, what will be covered in Java and what will be covered in the source code analysis. Then mobile pen testing. Even in the mobile pen testing, what is that additional concepts you will learn which will have some kind of advantage for your job search. Typical package for 3 years of experience, if you are having the knowledge on SAST, is 12 lakhs to 25 lakhs. That is cyber security plus SAST, because there are a lot of requirements for SAST where the cyber security need the knowledge on cybersecurity plus programming. We don't have such profiles as of now. That is the reason most of the companies consider DAST profiles even for the SAST. But if you have prior knowledge on SAST, that will be the advantage for you. Okay. Let me introduce myself. I am sure like most of you already know me because you have been trained under cybersecurity from us, and most of you have done even certified ethical hacker. Now we are going to get trained on case, source code analysis, certified application security engineer. This is about me. I have vast experience in cybersecurity and I have done like quite number of certifications. Among that, case is one of the certification. Okay, so you'll be trained in the case. In the job-oriented training of cybersecurity, what is the prerequisite to attend this training program is you should have finished your cybersecurity course. If you have not finished your cybersecurity course, you will not be able to understand these concepts. At least the cybersecurity basics, you should have done it. Okay. Additionally, like think like you are done with your cybersecurity course, then we are going to help you even the resume preparation, project and profile building based on this course. Okay. In our normal program, cybersecurity job oriented program, we are going to cover all these concepts, but the source code analysis, whatever you see here, which is highlighted in black, Java will be covered to some extent in the job oriented session. And source code analysis, I would have explained only the SANS 25. SANS 25 means 25 source code vulnerabilities. On a high level, I would have explained you, but it is not in the code level. If you want to study SAST in the code level, so that you should be able to judge any kind of source code vulnerabilities, whether it is true positive or false positive, this course is relevant. And mobile pen testing, I would have covered reverse engineering in the case of your cybersecurity course. But whereas in this case certification, I am going to cover in full extent with the labs. That is an advantage with this case training and certification. So let us start with Java. What is that you are going to learn in Java? Very simple. We are not going to take 1 month or 2 months to learn the Java. I'm sure like everyone will be able to write the simple programs, and even the objects, OOPS concepts also you are going to understand, and you are going to write the programs. When it comes to the source code analysis, there is no need for you to write the program, but you should be able to understand the logic. So as part of Java basics, you will be trained with the basic setup. What is the setup that is required for you to write the program? So you need to install the IDE. One IDE is required, like Visual Studio or Eclipse or IntelliJ. One IDE is enough for you to write the program, okay, where you are going to learn about compilation, execution, debugging of the program, and some sample programs. So once the setup is done, some basics of the Java, like what are the data types, different types of database, what are the operators, then loops, decision making, like for loop, while loop, do while, and decision making means like if conditions, if else ladder, those concepts along with the labs. Then apart from that, Java framework might be using some more keywords. All those keywords, what is the significance of that keyword? Like whatever you see, some of the variables, right? Some of the keywords. Example is class or public, integer, string, or try, catch, loop, for. All these are considered as keywords. We should know why do we use those keywords in Java. Then as part of advanced Java program, we are going to cover the OOPS concepts, object-oriented programming. So there we are going to learn about what is meant by class, what is meant by object, how to create the class, how to create member variables, member functions, and along with that, you'll be trained for the OOPS concepts, inheritance. The 4 properties of objects are OOPS are inheritance, then polymorphism, abstraction, encapsulation. Okay, the first 4 are the different properties of OOPS you can consider. Inheritance means you define functions in one class. Those functions you are going to use it in subclass. We'll do some programs so that you get some understanding on this. Polymorphism. You are going to write some function, but with the same name of that function, you are going to implement multiple logics or multiple input arguments. You can put different kinds of input arguments. That is called polymorphism. Abstraction. What is meant by abstraction? Basically, you are going to hide some functionality. Okay, that will be done with the respect to with the help of abstraction. Encapsulation. Encapsulation means for the sake of security, we are going to do the encapsulation. Some of the member variables or values, there is no need for us to expose that to the public. So with the help of getters and setters, we say. In fact, as of now, I don't think you'll be able to understand these concepts. I'm just giving you on the high level. Then normal arrays, and along with that collections and regular expressions, all those things will be covered as part of Java. But we are going to finish in a week, 5 to 6 classes, and the training hours are evening batch. It is going to be evening batch, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., 1 hour. So this is mostly required for those cybersecurity engineers who wants to have full-fledged knowledge, end-to-end knowledge on the in the cyber security. Okay, because in DAST, you are going to work only in the testing phase. But whereas in case of SAST, you work in the source code and you are going to work even in the designing phase. That is the advantage for case. So let me talk about the case training content. So most of you are planning to attend the case certification, right? As part of that, we are going to cover these concepts. Can anyone tell me in which phase we perform the source code analysis? Designing phase, development phase, or testing phase? Which is a phase in software development lifecycle we are going to perform source code analysis? Okay, definitely it is development phase. Okay. Okay, now we are in the development phase. You got the source code. What to do next? It is not like we only scan the source code and find the vulnerabilities. You should be involved from the designing phase itself. There are some security activities which you are going to perform in the designing phase. What is that security activity that you perform in the designing phase? Anyone? In the designing phase, you are going to perform some activities, mostly that is called threat modeling. Okay, how many of you heard threat modeling? One, Venkat, Manoj. We would have covered on high level about the threat modeling. Anusha, Soumya, okay, good. We would have covered some basics of threat modeling like STRIDE, DREAD, then CVSS, attack trees, PASTA in our normal cybersecurity course. But here, as part of this program, we are going to cover the threat modeling in detail. Means we'll take some use case, we'll try to draw some pictures, then develop the security use cases, put data flow diagrams, and come up with a threat model. That's what we are going to target as part of SAST. So SAST doesn't mean only source code analysis. Will be involved in the threat modeling as well. There are some modules on the threat modeling. So we start with, these are the threat modeling, I mean to say SAST course curriculum. First one is application security, threats and attacks. This is the first module in SAST. This already we have done it, right? What do you mean by cross-site script, SQL injection, SQL injection, local file inclusions, remote file inclusion, security headers, cookies, session management, input validation, CSRF, SSRF. Like that, we would have learned so many vulnerabilities. So the first module is about application security, threats and attacks. We are not going to perform the labs for this first module. I'll explain you the threats and remediation for those threats. Okay, the reason is each and every attack will take 1 day or one session if you are going to perform the DAST. That's the reason whoever are attending for this SaaS certification should have the prior knowledge on the DAST, dynamic application security testing. Okay. Once that we are done with it, then we'll get into the designing phase. That is called software requirements engineering. Remember, the first phase is requirement gathering and analysis. Developers, they try to develop the application by using the specifications, right? Whereas security engineers, they have to work on the threat model and they have to develop the security use cases. This is called security requirements engineering, and threat modeling is considered internally to develop the security use cases. How to develop these security use cases, all those things, we'll try to do it through some kind of an activity. Okay, it is not just theoretical process. We'll take one example of 2 database servers, 2 application servers, and then load balancer, end users, web application firewall. Now you have to develop security requirements, security use cases based on the design and functional stories. That will be covered as part of SRE, software requirements engineering. Once this module is done, this is the second chapter or the module in the SAST. The next one is secure design and architecture. Okay, now you know the security use cases. How do you develop secure architecture? You need to consider a lot of factors. It is not just about the attacks. You need to consider security controls, like how do you implement identity and access management? How do you implement secure storage for the keys, secrets manager? What are the tools you can use it for secure design? This is completely on the high end. Basically for architect level, how do you implement secure application? We know, like when you try with 3 years or 4 years of experience as a security engineer, we try to give high level details on the secure design and architecture. But here we are going to cover complete security controls about this secure designing and architecture. How do you perform secure design for Java applications or Spring Boot applications, right? Like this, each and every framework will have some kind of secure design specifications. We need to cover that. Secure coding practices for injection attacks. So the first two will be done by the architects. Okay, this is actually dashed application security threats and attacks. They are not directly diving into this program. In fact, they cover these threats and then SRE and then secure design and architecture. Just hold on for a second, guys. Sorry, guys. Fine. Second and third chapters will deal with secure architecture and threat modeling. The first one is about the DAST. Then the third module is, here starts most of the engineers with 3 years to 8 years of experience. They have to analyze the source code. How do you do the false positive analysis? You have to walk through the source code. You need to analyze how that data gets navigated from one variable to another variable. Variable means there will be two files. One file is where the user provided data will be given as the input. Other file, some other function in the other file, second file, that file will execute the data that is provided in the file one. So you have to analyze that, and to do that analysis, we have to do the secure coding practices, or you should know about these secure coding practices. So they have categorized into different modules here as part of SAST. First one is injection attacks, secure coding practices for injection attacks. So you should have learned cross-site scripting, SQL injection, OS command injection, CSV injection. Take about the example of SQL injection. What are the ways to prevent SQL injection vulnerability? Anyone? Reply in the chat window. Remember, this course is for the people who has finished the DAST, or if you are taking this program along with the DAST, then it will be useful for you. If you are not attended any of the cybersecurity program, then it is very difficult for you to understand. Yes, exactly. Input validation, parameterized queries, prepared statements. These are the ways to prevent SQL injection vulnerability. Okay. Even web application firewall, but web application firewall is not on the code level, whereas other prevention mechanisms are in the source code level. We have to analyze the source code. We need to see where we are trying to put the input, and what are the ways? How do you filter the input? Whitelisting approach, blacklisting approach, or some kind of regular expressions? What kind of functions are there? So each and every framework provides the default input validation for the source code. Okay, client-side validation. How to implement that client-side validation? You are not going to write any code. You should remember some kind of classes or the methods which can be used for this input validation. Okay, this is all about this is the fourth chapter which we are going to cover, secure coding practices for injection attacks. The next one is secure coding practices for authentication issues. Can anyone tell me one example of authentication issue which can be prevented with best secure coding practices? I know, like, still we are not into the course, but in case if you can answer this based on the knowledge you have gained in the test, that will be great. Anyone? No? Authentication issues. There will be very simple logic here. Privilege escalation issues, IDOR issues, authentication issues. I'll give you one very simple example. How many of you know session fixation attack? Session fixation attack. Very simple example I'll give you. The issue says line of code is vulnerable for session attack. Okay, in case of session fixation attack, so before authentication and after authentication we'll try to analyze the flow. Okay, if you have not implemented any prevention mechanism for session fixation attack, what will happen is this is login and this is before login. On the left side to this is the before login, pre-login and post login. To think of any kind of web application. Okay, before login you have the session ID. Session ID is equal, it will be a 256-bit or 512-bit. For time being, just think like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. In case of session fixation attack, after authentication also, we are going to use the same session ID is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Then only the session fixation attack happens. But to fix this session fixation attack, after the authentication process, session ID should get new one from the server. It should be like some kind of value like this, right? I'm sure like most of you would have seen this kind of session IDs. So as part of our secure coding practices, if you go to the implementation part, any of the code file, there will be a simple flag like generate new session. It will be like underscore ID for login. These kind of flags will be there. It will be equal to false. By default, it will be false. If you want to prevent this, what should you put here? These are the static variables. Okay, that will be the code. Some of the code, we don't know which, the file name, everything. So when you run with checkmarks tool, it will detect this vulnerability and it will point to like, okay, this line of code is vulnerable for a session fixation attack. So when you go for remediation techniques, they would have displayed even this value also, like how to set this. So they are making us to enable this flag. So when you enable this flag, The second case, this is the first case, prone to session fixation attack. Second case, we are fixing the session fixation attack because earlier the session ID is 1234. After authentication, it is getting changed to new one. So attacker will not have this session ID because it got changed. That's how we are trying to protect from session fixation attack. Like that, there will be few more techniques depending on the framework. I told for one of the framework. Okay, hold on. Secure coding practices for authentication issues, right? That is one of the mechanism. Some more mechanisms are like password strength, multi-factor authentication, CAPTCHA, how to enable multi-factor authentication, what are the different kinds of algorithms that can be used for multi-factor authentication. Okay, all those will be considered under secure coding practices for authentication issues. The next one is, I'm sure cryptography already you would have knew some hashing algorithms, encryption algorithms. In this chapter, but we are going to learn in detail, like initialization vector. We are going to initialize some random value. How does that algorithm works? What are the different modes of symmetric encryption? Does anyone know what are the different modes of symmetric encryption? Most of the cases you would have seen CBC, cipher blockchain. The old one is EBC. CBC, EBC. And then counter mode is one of the mode. These are the different modes in symmetric encryption process. Electronic blockchain, cipher blockchain. ECB, sorry guys, ECB. And GCM. It says GCM is the secure one, but performance will be less. And ECB is very old. CBC is the latest which is used. Apart from that, by doing some initialization vectors, we are going to develop these algorithms. Okay. Within these initialization vectors, there are two modes of symmetric algorithms. Symmetric algorithms. Modes of operation of symmetric algorithm. CBC, output feedback, and this is some term. There are two types with if you are using initialization vector. These two are using initialization vectors. ECB is old one which is insecure. Most of the cases nowadays you see CBC or counter mode. CTR is a counter mode. Okay. Electronic code block. This is an insecure one. How about cipher code block? The latest one is the cipher code block. These are the things which we are going to discuss as part of secure coding practices for cryptography. Okay. Same way for RSA and even hashing algorithms. What kind of attacks will come if you are using older version of hashing algorithms? Hash collisions, right? And then plain text extraction. There are some different techniques are there. All those will be discussed in secure coding practices for cryptography. The next one is session management. This is all about authorization issues. How do you prevent authorization issues? Role-based access control, attribute-based access control, component-based access control. Like that, there are some kind of implementations which you need to take care of it. Yes, exactly. Okay. Then error handling. How do you handle the errors? Try catch exceptions you have to implement. Ensure that debugging is not enabled. It should be info. It should not be debug is equal to error is an issue. Debug is equal to info is the secure implementation. And try to print only the error message. Don't print complete exception details. Okay. The starting from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, completely into coding. The first two are in the secure architecture. The first, not the first two, second and third. The first one is about dashed. Okay. And then SAST and dashed. It talks about the DevSecOps process. Now that you have learned about dashed, SAST, then what is meant by DevSecOps? How do you integrate these SAST tools and dash tools into the CI/CD pipeline? All those topics are covered in SAST. And the last one is secure deployment. This is also you can consider as part of this DevSecOps. So now that we have gone through the best secure coding practices and dashed, then how do you do the deployments? How do you perform the server hardening, application hardening, system hardening? Those are covered under secure deployment. I'm sure like this is going to take 4 + 4, 8 days it takes, and Java will take 5 to 6 days, 1 week of Java and 8 to 9 days of SAST, and then last 4 days we are going to work on mobile pen testing. Remember mobile pen testing is just because of your advantage. I'm going to cover these concepts. These are not part of SAST. So you can consider this as a very good package in case if you want to get enrolled. As part of mobile dashed, what is that? It will be covered. You are going to learn about mobile fundamentals, means what is the OS that is used in the mobiles, what is meant by routing, what is meant by jailbreaking, what is SSL pinning, how do you bypass SSL pinning, and then OWSP top 10 of mobile, including the test cases. It is not just theory. You are going to learn about pen testing of the mobiles. Then what are the different kinds of automated scanners? Okay, like AppScan, MobSF, and even Web Inspect. These all the tools can be used. Some of the tools are applicable for both web and mobile. So we are going to scan those tools. If you want to perform manually the pen testing for the mobiles, you have to use these tools called Frida, Browser, ADB, Android Debug Bridge, then man in the middle proxy, Burpsuit, Genymotion, GENY. That is the spelling mistake. Genymotion is about the virtual platform where you are going to try the manual pen testing scenarios. We make use of Genymotion or Android Studio. Okay, Android Studio, virtual VDMs, virtual device interfaces. We are going to use either of this, and Frida is used for bypassing the SSL pinning. Okay, Browser is a tool where it will try to hook any of the process within the mobile, and where we can try to trace the activities whatever you perform within the mobile platform. ADB is a debugging tool. Again, man in the middle proxy and Burpsuit, these are used as interceptors. Most of the cases Burpsuit we have used for intercepting the web traffic. For mobile traffic, you are going to make use of MITM proxy and Burpsuit. These tools will be covered for dashed, and even will help you for the interview questions and all those things with respect to the mobile pen testing. Then coming to the SAST. SAST doesn't mean only for web applications or desktop. Even you should be good at mobile SAST. So as part of mobile SAST, you are going to learn about reverse engineering. Means they will be provided with APK file or IPA package. APK is for Android applications. IPA is for iOS mobiles. So we have to perform reverse engineering, and for that you should learn some tools like APK, JADAX, Android Studio. Even MobSF also performs this source code analysis. How do we make use of these tools to view the source code files? and what are the different kinds of security vulnerabilities can happen as part of mobile SAST. These are the additional advantage if you have enrolled for SAST. Okay, I think that's all we have. So do you guys have any questions? Completely the course content. Additionally, you are going to get trained on Java and mobile pen testing. Okay, and the certification program is case. In general, only the case certification will cost you 42,000. We have reduced the pricing to 28, 25 plus GST. It will come to 28,000 if you are getting enrolled within 3 days. After that, it will be like normal price. So you are getting trained on these concepts plus case certification from EC Council. You may have to attempt that exam after the training. Okay. Any questions, anyone? You guys can unmute and ask me if you have any challenges or questions or queries. First of all, is it clear or sounds very strange, all these topics?
This certificate is CH or what, Harish?
This certification comes after CH. First is CH and later is the case.
Yes,
Only
okay,
for
okay.
source code, when you talk about CH, it is completely, it includes SAST, DAST, mobile. You can consider CH as an entry-level certification.
Okay.
Broadly categorized.
Okay.
Source code you can categorize as source code analysis as a specialization. People whoever are interested to learn programming, or if they want good package, good career, good to have both DAST and SAST.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, guys, what is the time now? I told for 30 minutes, it has gone for 40 minutes. And there are 3 questions. If you guys want to ask, you can ask me. I'll share you the course content if you are interested for this SAST. Let me see if I have the course content for SAST. CCSC. Case project. Okay. Case Java. I'm going to cover case Java. Let us look at the jobs where that are more relevant for the case certification. They have categorized into 6 modules. One is security requirements, and then threat modeling, secure architecture. Then in the development phase, secure coding practices, maintenance, patches, deployment, and testing. This is the EC Council certification. And what you are going to learn. Just now I have covered what is that you are going to learn as part of this training and certification. Top components of case. This is what we have discussed. Job task analysis. How is it case going to help for you in case if you are going to learn about this certification? So you're going to work on the security use cases, security requirements. It will be helpful for the business analyst team. And you perform security reviews, secure architecture, which is going to helpful for the project architect team. Security coding practices in the development team. Performing SAST and DAST, that is in the QA team. And deployment team. So just before you are going to deploy, you are going to do the review for secure deployments and hardening. That's how by going through this case, SAST, you will become an all-rounder where you can contribute for any of these projects or at any of these development phases. Course content is already covered. Certification. And the exam pattern will be like 50 questions will be there, 2 hours of exam. You need to score 70%. It will be easy. I'm sure like people who has dashed already you would have covered 40% of the vulnerabilities. Eligibility criteria. Then, okay, I think they didn't list the jobs for this. They would have listed in some other brochure. Anyhow, this is all about the case training, certification, and training part. So we are going to start this batch from next week, Monday. This is the demo session, and Monday onwards, entire week we'll learn the Java with the tools and practicals. If you want to check your programming skills also, you can attend the session for the first 3 days or 5 days. You'll learn about, okay guys, 1 second. You will learn about Java, and once you're comfortable with Java, then you can directly continue for the case training program. Okay. Oh my God. Sorry guys, there was a power cut. So there is a problem. It was disconnected. Anyhow, this is all about the entire course. Any more questions, anyone? Within 3 weeks, we are going to finish that, no more delay. And after that 3 weeks of training, then the 4th week, you can attempt the exam for this. There is a huge demand for SAST between 3 years and 8 years of experience. So try to utilize this opportunity. Once we are finishing the SAST in this month, that is Feb, March is for cloud and DevSecOps. Again, SAST will come after 3 months or 4 months. That's it. Okay. If you are really interested for this, you can make some minimum payment and attend the sessions. And maybe by the end of the training, you can make the complete payment for the certification. Java classes are free of cost. Okay. So additionally, I'm going to train you on Java, then mobile pen testing and interview preparation. If you are going through this case certification. This is from EC Council. It is not from us. Outside, it will be charged for 40,000, 50,000 only for the certification. Here, as I said, additionally, mobile pen testing and Java will be trained for you. Okay, guys, last 1 minute. If you have any questions, or else we are good for today. Thank you for the participation. And can I get the attendance with your name, location, and mobile number? Reply only to me. Don't reply to all. Just for the attendance purpose. Reply only to me. Don't reply to all. Name. If you want to avail discount, we need the attendance. Your name. Location, then mobile number. That is enough. Reply, send to me. Don't reply to all. With your name and your contact number is required so that we can trace or track for any offers for the current batch. For 3 years to 10 years of experience, you can consider this training program because threat modeling is covered, secure architecture is covered, secure design, and along with that, source code analysis. Last 2 minutes. One minute. Okay, thank you so much for your time and see you on Monday again for the sessions, whoever are interesting to attend. We'll start with Java, then second and third week, as I mentioned in the training program, we'll go with the plan, 3 weeks of training, and then last week you guys can attempt the exam for certification. Thank you guys. See you. Bye bye. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Thank you, Hari.